Hi everyone. I just felt the need to jump on real quick and let y'all know that there are rules that we need to follow because I'm getting a lot of phone calls lately. Can I do this? Why can't I do this? If somebody else can do this, or blah blah blah. The big one right now is about GPSs. I will not put a GPS on a car. I can help you purchase one. The rules are that the person who's putting the GPS on the car has to be an owner or a co-owner of the vehicle. And I've gotten a lot of people, for example, yesterday wanted to follow their boyfriend, their father-in-law, an employer, whatever. But you have to physically be the owner of the vehicle in order to put a GPS on there. So I don't get involved in any of that kind of stuff. I've had a couple people calling me in recent weeks looking for cell phone numbers, cell phone bills. Again, that's something we can't get. You need a subpoena to get the bills. I can break cell phone numbers, but I can only technically do that for an attorney or an insurance company. I know people will give it to individuals, but you're not supposed to. Same with Pennsylvania DMV records. They're only permissible for an attorney or an insurance company, or if you provide me with a judgment or a court order. Pennsylvania will not get driver's records released to any attorney. Even with a subpoena, I haven't seen any attorney so far getting a driver's record with a subpoena. Pennsylvania will either only let you sign the paperwork, or and it has to be the paperwork. It can't be a release. You used to be able to sign a release and then attach it. You actually have to sign the PA form to get a driver's record if you're an attorney. But the insurance companies have to insure the individual. So that's another one. Another thing I won't give out is somebody's address. I get a lot of people, I want to find my father for Christmas or whatnot. There's a lot of arguments among private investigators what you can and can't give out, but I've been told by several attorneys, if I have that situation, have the person give me a letter. I can mail it to the person when I find them, or if they want me to call the person and the person says okay and voluntarily will accept, the other person's phone number or address or whatnot, we can do that. But I just kind of wanted to let you know there are rules that I have to follow. It's not that I don't want your work. But like I said, I get a lot of phone calls about what I can and can't do. And I know there's other investigators out there, or so-called investigators. I know there's a lot of people that are not licensed, bonded, and insured in the states. We all have to carry identification. So if somebody says they're a private investigator, they need to show you, it depends on what state, but some states they have badges, but every state they have an ID card of some sort. Most of them now are turning into like credit card size cards, that look like a credit card and have their picture in there. So that's what most of them are turning themselves into. So ask for ID. Everybody's got to carry ID, and if it looks wonky, it doesn't. You can verify it as well. So like I said, the big things that I've been getting a lot of calls about are GPSs, who can and cannot put them on, running Department of Motor Vehicle searches and locating people. Something I just thought of too real quick was, some people want marriage records, divorce records, things like that. It's county by county in Pennsylvania, divorce records. I know I can get them in my Pittsburgh office, but I can't get them in Montgomery County. So you have to find an investigator that you trust. I'm going to tell you like it is, whether you use me or not, that's fine. But, my big thing is, don't ask my company to break the rules. We're certainly not going to do it. I've been in this field since the 1980s, the late 1980s. So I think I'm pretty well educated. I have a lot of attorneys I can turn to if I have a question. I have a lot of vendors that I can deal with. We also have to follow the Fair Credit Reporting Act, since I see somebody on there that reminded me of that. I have to stay compliant. So like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to help you, but I'm not going to put my company in any jeopardy. What is my source to do skip tracing? I don't use Family Tree. I use databases that private investigators have access to, that the general public would not. Attorneys have things like LexisNexis and Westlaw. We have, spin-off programs of that, things that are called TLO, DelvePoint, IRB, IDI, tracers, things along that lines. That's what I do as far as skip tracing. If I'm looking for a person, like I think you might be asking, it really depends on what information I have. I might use Family Tree or Ancestry. Family Tree seems to be a little better than Ancestry, but you got to take that information with a grain of salt, because a lot of that is a lot of databases that the general public can get, that, you know, we can get or attorneys can get, is information derived from Google. So I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tried a test subject on Family Tree, but I have on Ancestry, to see what they come up with. So, I mean, if you find them, you know, reliable, then, you know, that's something maybe I'll think about. Thank you for that information. But, you know, a lot of again, you know, people tell me I did a 1999 search or a 1995 or a $20 search, and this is what I found, but it's the wrong person. I had an attorney the other day tell me, for example, that they found the subject I'm looking for. Well, they found the wrong person. They found somebody in Utah when they're actually the person they're looking for is in the military in Florida. So, you know, not every database is reliable. I don't rely on these databases. John, you're certainly welcome to call me or email me anytime too with any questions. You know, I use several when I do a skip trace because I don't find one more reliable than the other at this point. So if anybody has any questions, you certainly can email me at harrisinvestigationsllc@yahoo.com. or call me 215-368-1760. I'm going to start coming back on sporadically and doing some updates or questions when I get a lot of the same questions in one specific time period, a couple of days, and people call about the same thing. But enjoy the rest of your day. I just wanted to come on real quick and say, you know, there are rules that I have to follow. You know, skip tracers have to follow them. You know, asset searchers have to follow them. Repo people, you know, anybody in the legal field has to follow a rule. Just because it's, you know, you see it on TV, moonlighting, you know, Blue Bloods, Law and Order, it doesn't mean that we can do it. We have to follow rules. Just remember that stuff's made up. You know, just like, you know, the stuff you see on True TV, you know, all worked up. And the repos, the various repo shows, they're all made up stuff. Trust me, I know they're made up. I know several people involved in this stuff. It's made up, just like Cheaters is made up. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. If anybody has any questions, again, you feel free to reach out to me, and I'll post a few of them, you know, questions when I get a bunch during the day. Have a good day, everybody.